Share with your kicks on the Crack King podcast.
Or how we feel. Oh, it's not an all-time thing? Mine's an all-time.
No, all time, yeah, definitely. And I've got to say, this was one of the hardest decisions I've had to make in my life. This is just, I'm probably gonna change it halfway through saying it. Like,
yeah, I know. I changed it over. Purple Rain.
Oh, great choice, great choice.
And I say Purple Rain is a perfect song. Is because not just because the perfect artist sang it, but the lyrics had depth, and you could tell that song was personal for him. Because to me, a perfect song for an artist is something that they experienced on their own, and they put it to paper.
What was the inspiration for that song then? Because I've obviously in the film. What happened in the film in Purple Rain isn't what actually happens. In the film, it's sort of made out that the guitarist and the bass player wrote it, and then Prince just came and exactly. And that's not what they did write Computer Blue though. For anyone,
yes, they did. Computer Blue was dope.
Song. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the inspiration was, but maybe he was just talking to a girl or talking to his parents or just I don't know. I know he was talking to me, and it touched my motherfucking soul.
Yeah, and I think also that Super Bowl performance, him, obviously when the rain's coming down and just, it is perfect song. It's one of those where it's, anthem. I think the word anthem, it gets thrown around a few times, but that's an anthem. Right? This is my 80s selection. This don't touch my heart, and it goes into the 6-year dry spell. Is How Soon Is Now by the Smiths.
Why is that a perfect song for you?
It just perfectly encapsulates like a mood and just the mood of loneliness, and just the lyrics it tells a story. Like, I'm the sun, I'm the air, the shyness that is criminally vulgar. I'm the sun, I'm the air, of nothing in particular. You got this era of like sort of a pathetic like feeling, and especially the guitarist with the way Johnny Marr, I don't even know what technique it was he used to get that sound, but the just perfectly fits that mood. And then he goes, "Shut your mouth. How can you say I go about things the wrong way? I'm human. I need to be loved, just like everybody else does." Such a relatable feeling. It's cuts to the point. It's about like someone who wants to be loved. It's not like a song like, "Oh, I'm down on my luck." It's yearning for that human connection. And then goes back to it on the sun, repeats it again. And then it gets to the lyric, "There's a club if you'd like to go. You could meet someone who really loves you. So you go and you stand on your own, and you leave on your own, and you go home. You go home and you cry and you want to die." And it's a perfect lyric because, as someone who's not had intercourse in a long time, many club nights where I'm just standing there as they're play Blurred Lines for the third time that evening, and I'm paying £7 for a fucking cocktail or a bottle of beer in London. So not even for a pint. And I'm just like, oh God Almighty, fuck me. That song Panic was about hanging a DJ. That would have came very close as well for that reason. You could go to the club and you go home and you leave on your own. And then it gets into the lyric, "When you say it's going to happen now, what exactly do you mean? See, I've already waited too long and all my hope is gone." It just perfectly describes that feeling and how you feel in that moment. And then it goes on like this instrumental break, and then the drums kick in, and the drums are isolated. It goes, and the drums are just, and then it goes back in with the instrumental, and it just perfectly displays that feeling of like pathetic, like helplessness and just desolation in a way, inner desolation of just like, oh God Almighty, I'm never gonna get laid. Oh God.
Let's move into the 90s.
Okay.
What year you were born?
I was born in 95. Yeah.
1995. Oh man, that's a good year, man.
Same year as the History album, Michael Jackson.
Yeah. 90s, one of the perfect songs I want to say in the 90s is "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana.
Oh, that is, yeah, you can't argue with that. I think it's because I've heard that song so many times, I didn't put it on my list. Just going back to the nightclub thing, like
Yeah.
if like we used to go to this shout out to the club, probably not the endorsement they want, 'cause I'm about to slag it off. It's called Warehouse, and it's like this rock club. And
Okay.
what they do is they play rock, but they play the same song by that band. So like they put on the poster, oh, like, yeah, music from Nirvana to Rage Against the Machine. If you're there, it's a Limp Bizkit. They'll play a Limp Bizkit song. It's going to be break stuff every time. They're going to play a Rage Against the Machine song. It'll be Killing in the Name of. Every night it'll be there. And if they're going to play Nirvana, it'll be Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, they'll never deviate. And so I hear it, but it's still a quality song. And as you say, changing music, it just sort of took away the hair rock and like just said to a whole generation, get a haircut, mate. Get some holes in your shirt, mate. Fucking, put on some flannel shirts. Like this is grunge.
Yeah, it's grunge because they were trying to, and they almost took out Guns N' Roses, but Guns N' Roses puts out major perfect songs. That's one of my runner-ups. But Smells Like Teen Spirit spoke to me because I'm really not I grew up hip hop. I love hip hop. When that grunge thing hit with them, it was almost, it had the spirit of rap, the anger, you know what I mean, the resentment of the status quo, and that's what that song was about. That's why it was perfect.
Exactly, and
Plus,
it's so
Kurt Cobain fucking vocals. I mean, who's better than that besides Audio Slave? The guy from Audio Slave. I don't even know his name, but rest in peace to him.
Oh yeah, well, and also say that Smells Like Teen Spirit probably sold a lot of deodorant as well. So Teen Spirit.
Well,
I didn't even know what
deodorant when I was a teen.
I never knew what Teen Spirit was until they go, oh, it's about deodorant. Oh, okay, that's good bit of product placement. Yeah,
I know it.
And this is probably a very niche UK thing, but it is a song called Three Lions by the Lightning Seeds with these two comedians, Badil and Skinner, and they remade this song like about 2 or 3 times with diminishing returns. But the original 96, basically, England hadn't won the World Cup or hosted a football tournament.
I know that song. Yeah. They had a whole video behind it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that in the 90s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like a comedy type of song, though, right?
It was comedy, but in the same way it touched a nerve. Like it was, so basically, like England, they hadn't won a World Cup or hosted a football tournament in 30 years, and then we suddenly get the Euros in 96. I'm 1 year old, so I don't remember it. I don't know what's going on. And I'm still trying to get my grip around walking. I don't know what football is yet.
You weren't doing big things yet.
I wasn't doing big things yet. I still supported Liverpool because I've got that sense about me. But I didn't know what was going on. So it's sort of retroactively. And it also helps with the fact that we got to the semi-finals of the 2018 World Cup. And then we got to the finals of the last Euros. So this song has sort of come back, and it's sort of become an anthem again. It never stopped being an anthem, but it's something in the zeitgeist now. It's in like the lexicon now, where I think even non-football fans like take this song to their hearts now. It could be like our second national anthem. And when this song first came out, England hadn't won a football tournament in 30 years. Now it's over double that. Was it over? Almost. It's almost double that. It will be double that soon. And the whole song is about like it's coming home because literally we're hosting the tournament again. But just the hope of like, could we possibly do the impossible and win it? And it goes through like the opening like lyrics are. Everybody thinks they know the score. They've seen it all before. England are just gonna throw it away. But I still can play it. I remember, and it talks about the glory days, and it's like the verse is always like pessimistic, and it goes to the optimism of like they'll talk about 3 lines on a shirt, that tackle by Moore when Lineker scored, like the great moments that make you watch football. And then the verses remind you of the pain of like, we're gonna get knocked out in the first round, we're gonna get all those jokes, so many jeers. It's all of like the the pessimistic things that make you go, why do I do this to myself? Why have I spent like, oh, okay, I'll see us again in another 2 years. Like, oh yeah, of course
That's
we
like
did.
that's like the version of the Cowboys fans in America.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's 90s. I put on the hip hop list. I put The Graveyard by Big L, Jay-Z. I can't remember who else. There's a few people on it. I think it's my favorite posse cut of all time because it just describes what a posse cut should be.
Yeah.
Just like everybody step up there, give us your best verse, on to the next guy, and everyone out there. I think Big L had the best verse, and it's ironic because he goes first. But like he sort of sets the stage, and I imagine they were all friends, but it kind of felt like it has that competitive edge that I think it perfectly encapsulates that competitive edge that genres like hip hop do thrive off, where it's like, right, this I'm set the bar here, can you top me?
Friendly competition. Yes,
exactly. Yeah,
just like in the 80s they had the Symphony. They had Big Daddy Kane on it. They had Marley Marl. Are you familiar?
I think so. Was that a Juice Crew kind of
like that? Yeah. And then in the 2000s we had Swagger Like Us. You remember that one? That was a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is Big L. You're a fan of Big L though. I noticed that.
I love Big L. I think I often say like if he didn't die, it's hard to gauge because he only had an album, and then like the second album was pretty much done. So you can sort of say he had 2 albums, and that was released posthumously. And then we get like these posthumous things, and so it's hard to really gauge with how long he was on this earth, like how good he was. If he would have stayed alive, he had it all. He had the best flow I think I've ever heard. He could tell stories. He could hit you with like punchlines that you'd never like. No one could better his punchlines. He was incredible, and like he was doing basically what Eminem got famous for before Eminem did it. Yeah. And if he'd have stayed alive, I heard that he was about to be signed, I think, to Rockefeller Records around about the time when he died, and it's like, so you imagine that he would have had the full like support of, you know, he would have had the full advertising. People could actually see how good he was, and it's
do you think Jay-Z would have been as big if Big L had lived?
Possibly, but they'd have different audiences because, like, sort of Jay-Z started out because I think it was like Big L was someone who actually like was, because I remember this radio thing. And I think Big L was a bigger name than Jay-Z at the time. And he said, "I'm going to bring my man Jay-Z on," and so he gave Jay-Z a bit of shine. And at the time, they were, and that's why I love The Graveyard, because it was like when Jay-Z, I think, was at his peak right at the start, when he was like probably lyrically at his best and his flow was at his best. But then Jay-Z sort of transitioned more into more commercial type hip hop, like the song craft. Like, he sort of prioritized what the song needed rather than the actual lyrical content. And he was still great music, one of my favorite rappers. But I don't think they had the same audiences, so I think they could have existed side by side. I'd say I think they'd have probably formed a group, to be honest, if they were alive.
Let's truck into the 2000s with Outkast, Miss Jackson.
Oh, great song.
I believe that's a perfect song, man.
Yeah,
hook,
yeah,
flow, content. It couldn't get any better.
Yeah, it's such a great concept as well. Like, not saying like to the girl, like, you know, like he's got beef with the girl, but
he's talking to the mom, right?
The mother, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you do like I've never been in a relationship myself, but I can imagine that. Like, I've been in situations where like
situationships.
Well, no, not even that, but situations where like you have somebody has a beef with someone, or you have a beef with someone, but the person they're always around, or the person they're close to, you still really like. So you're like, oh, I'm sorry, it has to be this way, and you're like, oh god, like, so now you can't hang out with that person. So it's such a great concept, like saying sorry to the mother. Like, the mother's done nothing wrong. It's the daughter, which they go on to explain in 6 minutes of perfect hip hop.
One more song I felt like was perfect was Hello by Adele.
I'm gonna tap out there.
You don't like Adele? Adele's awesome. And she liked black guys. It's a no-brainer. No.
I mean, she's done well to get Stormzy. She's punching there, you know. She's doing well on herself. But she's in terms of her music, I think her and Ed Sheeran are two of the most overrated musicians that I like. I wouldn't even say I dislike them because I like Chasing Pavements. I quite like a James Bond song. It's pretty good, you know. Rumbling in the Deep is all right. But what I am annoyed at is that people hold her on this, like, they treat her as, like, the second coming of, like, I'm trying to think of the comparison, like, kind of like a Bob Dylan. Ed Sheeran's, like, they treat as the second coming of Bob Dylan, and Adele they treat as the second coming of I don't know if it's a UK thing, but in this country, we put her on such a pedestal. Like, I think she headlined Glastonbury, and every time she does a gig, like, it's always sold out. It's massive arenas.
Well, personally, everybody in America loves Celine Dion.
She actually, Whitney Houston, maybe the second coming of Whitney Houston.
I'm not going that far.
See that, and that's the way I feel.
She's definitely better than Celine Dion. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, but in this country, people like treat her as if she was the second coming of Whitney Houston. Honestly, the treatment she gets, like when you talk about Adele, and it's a very unpopular opinion that I have. Because any time I'll say that, like, people have literally said, "Oh, wash your mouth out with soap." Like, oh, she's like, it's like she's going to get knighted by the age of 35 or something. Like, she's just got one or two good songs. I don't understand why she's like this massive.
I don't know, man. The 22 album was pretty dope, man. It had more than 2 songs on it. But Hello was superior, though, man. Hello was superior.
I'll be honest with you. I'll go out on another limb. I'm not even a big fan of the Lionel Richie "Hello." I'll be honest.
Hello. That was a good song too.
It's too over the top for me. It's a bit like Celine Dion's a good comparison. Like her music's a bit too pushed down your throat. It's too dramatic for me. Like, you know. I think that's why I like the James Bond song, because that's the time and place where you can be like, it is all about the drama of, like, you know, the sky full. But just, it's like, oh yeah, I know you had a bad relationship, you got dumped, get over it. Fucking hell, love. Like, it's still going on. Yeah.
I got one question before we wrap this shit up. Since you're in London, do you ever think the Queen is gonna die? And is she a shape-shifting lizard alien?
See, the lizard thing, I don't know. I think a lizard could do her job, and that is. I was about to say no disrespect, but
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. I suppose so. I don't know why. She's probably got loads of security guards do it for her.
Yes.
God's got other shit to do. Yeah, all she does is like waves and shit. I don't even know if I really like the Queen, but I kind of respect her. And it's one of those where, like, will she die? I don't know. I can't imagine what that day would be like. I think it would be something that's bigger than life. I think that will be the next big thing when the Queen dies. That will be like the thing that everybody stops and goes, Jesus, like, you know. But unlike Michael Jackson, the Queen didn't really have that many great songs, so we're not gonna have much great television out of it. So.